We will now take a decision on draft resolution A/ES10/L25 entitled Protection of Civilians and Upholding Legal and Humanitarian Obligations. A recorded vote has been requested. We shall now begin the voting process. Those in favor of draft resolution A/ES10/L25, please signify. Those against, abstentions.
The General Assembly is now voting on draft resolution A/ES10/L25 entitled Protection of Civilians and Upholding Legal and Humanitarian Obligations.
Mr. President, the situation in Gaza is dire, characterized by immeasurable suffering, where the fundamental human rights and the dignity of its people have been violated in blatant disregard of international law. The consequences of indiscriminate violence, the loss of countless innocent lives, and the extensive destruction of civil infrastructure are destined to leave a lasting mark on generations to come. Since the eruption of this cycle of violence and conflict on 7th October, over 7,000 Palestinians, innocent Palestinians, have tragically lost their lives, including women, children, elderly, health workers, and UN staff. The urgent need for an immediate ceasefire to end this prolonged tragedy and create a path towards diplomatic solutions cannot be overstated. It is not merely our responsibility, but a profound moral obligation to champion the cause of peace. In light of these compelling circumstances, as we all are witnessing a ground invasion conducted by Israel as we speak, and the absence of a resolute action by the United Nations Security Council 4 times so far, our draft resolution pursues a simple yet vital goal, one that aligns with the very purpose for which the United Nations was established: peace and compliance with international law. This resolution addresses the intensifying violence in Gaza Strip, the rest of the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem. It calls for an immediate, enduring, and unwavering humanitarian truce, ultimately leading to a cessation of hostilities. It demands adherence to international law, especially concerning the safeguarding of civilians, humanitarian personnel, UN staff, and essential facilities. This resolution emphasizes the crucial necessity of unimpeded humanitarian access to life-saving essentials such as food, water, medical supplies, fuel, and electricity for the civilian population in Gaza. Moreover, it pleads for the immediate and unconditional release of captives and underscores the imperative of protection of civilians and humanitarian infrastructure and the disproportionate impact of armed conflict on vulnerable groups encompassing women, children, individuals with disabilities, and the elderly. Furthermore, the resolution underscores that the only viable path forward is a two-state solution rooted in pertinent UN resolutions and international law. In a time of crisis and uncertainty, this path offers hope for a just and lasting peace. Finally, I would like to remind delegations that Israel is responsible for the atrocities that are being committed now and that will be committed in their ground invasion of Gaza. Do not support any effort to legitimize such atrocities as we are seeing now in a proposal that perpetrates to whitewash such unlawful and horrendous aggression against the Palestinian people in Gaza. In this context, I call for a vote on Canada's Amendment L26.
Pakistan will withdraw its co-sponsorship of L25, and we will submit an amendment to the text of the resolution, which will strongly condemn all indiscriminate attacks by Israel, the occupying power, against the Palestinian civilian population. That, I hope we will have the opportunity at the appropriate time to do so. But my appeal to all member states here is not to support the one-sided Canadian amendment, the unequal Canadian amendment, the unfair Canadian amendment. We urge you not to show that you are biased against the Palestinian people who have suffered 50 years.
Today is a day that will go down in infamy. We have all witnessed that the UN no longer holds even 1 ounce of legitimacy or relevance. This organization was founded in the wake of the Holocaust for the purpose of preventing atrocities. Yet, the spectacle we just saw proves beyond a doubt that the UN is committed, sadly, tragically, not to preventing but ensuring further atrocities. Israel just endured the largest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. And according to a majority of the so-called family of nations, Israel has no right to defend itself.
That you are even-handed, that you will either name both or you will name neither in this draft resolution. Our purpose is to stop the fighting. The fact that we have reports today that the Israelis have gone on the ground into Gaza, which will escalate the fighting. It is all the more reason for this General Assembly to pass a resolution which is unequivocal in calling for a halt to the fighting, to the hostilities, and that is what we must do this afternoon. I thank you, Mr. President.